Good morning students. We will continue that previous class. In that previous class, I was saying you about the ray of light. Here, that arrow mark is very important. If you will not mention that arrow mark in exam, you won't get any marks. If there is no arrow mark, then it is not to be called as a ray of light. You must and should mention that arrow mark. That arrow indicating from where to where that light energy is moving. It's very important. This is about ray of light. Then next, beam of light. Beam of light. Beam means it's a group of light rays or a collection of light rays. So here, group or collection of light ray is called as a beam of light. See here, I have drawn three beam of light. See, firstly I have written here a parallel beam of light. A parallel beam means what? Imagine here somewhere at infinite distance there is a source of light. Somewhere at infinite distance there is a source of light. From that source light rays got emitted. After traveling certain long distance, we are going to treat them. They are parallel with respect to each other. Look here on this one. Somewhere at infinite distance, there is a source of light. From that source, light ray got emitted and they propagated through the space. After traveling a certain long distance, we are going to treat them. They are parallel with respect to each other. Look here, I have taken three light rays and those three light rays are parallel with respect to each other. Such beam of light we call as a parallel beam of light. Yes. Then next one more is here, a divergent beam of light. Divergent, what it telling? Moving away from each other. Diverging means what? Moving away with respect to each other. Look on this diagram. Here there is a dot. That dot I treated as a source of light. Source of light. Here there is a bulb. Imagine it is a bulb. When you switch it on, what will happen? From that bulb, light rays are moving away in all directions. When you switch it on, light rays are moving in all directions from that source. See here. Again I taken three light rays. Those three light rays from that source of light are moving away. This one going in this direction, this one going in this direction and this one here. You look on them, how they are away from each other, they diverge. Such beam of light is called as divergent beam of light. If light rays are moving away from any source of light, then such beam we call as a divergent beam of light. Look, one more there. That is convergent. Converge means going to meet. Converge means going to gather or going to meet. Look on this diagram here in this one. These three light rays came from somewhere. Somewhere at infinite distance there is a source. From that source these three light rays came. And those three light rays are going to merge at this point. These three are going to meet at this point. Now, they are going to merge. They are going to gather. So, we call such beam of light as a converging beam. Convergent beam. Have you understood? Based on their appearance only we name them. Based on their appearance, how they are. If they are parallel, they means what? Light rays. If light rays are parallel, you call it as a parallel beam of light. If light rays are moving away from each other, they are diverging, then you call it as a divergent beam, diverging beam. If light rays are somewhere gathering, if light rays are going to meet somewhere, then how they looking? They converge. So you call it as a convergent beam of light or converging beam of light. Have you understood? Beam means a group or collection of light ray. Yes, this is about the beam of light. After that, see, on this universe, many objects are there. On this universe, many objects are there. Among those objects, some we call as a luminous object and some we call as a non-luminous object. On which base we can classify them? On which base we have to identify them? I mean, what mean luminous? What mean non-luminous? Luminous, it's going to shine. See here, what I mean. Luminous means it's going to shine. See here. The objects which are going to gives out are going to emit out their own light energy. The objects which are going to emit their own light, such objects we have to call as a luminous objects. If the objects going to emit their own light, such object we have to call as a luminous object. For example, sun is there. Sun is going to emit its own energy. He is going to emit his own energy. So we call sun as a luminous object. Luminous object. When you burn a candle, what will happen? During night time, when you burn a candle, what you feel? You feel some energy is coming out from that burning candle. Some energy is coming out from that burning candle. With the help of that energy, you can see the things around that. What happening there? That burning candle itself emitting its own light. So that burning candle you have to call as a luminous object. Many are there. Electrical bulb, when you switch it on, it glowing, it shining, means what? It emitting the energy, light energy. So that electrical bulb emitting its own energy, you call it as a luminous object. So like this, the objects which are emitting their own light are called as luminous objects. I have written here their examples. See here, burning candle, stars, sun, and here electrical bulb. Many are. Some even living things. I mean some fireflies. We call as fireflies. They are going to emit their own energy. So like that, some many insects are there. Those insects emitting their light, their own light. So we call those insects as a luminous objects. Have you understood? Yes. Then next, non-luminous objects. Non-luminous. That title only telling the objects which are not going to emit their own light. Objects which are not going to emit their own light, even though what they are doing? They scattering those light which are falling on it. They are not emitting their own light. They just re-emitting the light rays which are falling on it. Such objects we have to call as a non-luminous objects. Objects which are not emitting their own light are called as non-luminous objects. Moon is there. During night, we can see that moon. What we can imagine at that time, moon is shining. There, what happening actually? Moon is not emitting its own light energy. Moon is not emitting its own light energy. What it doing there? That moon re-emitting those light rays which are falling on it. On moon, light rays are coming from sun and falling on that moon. Here moon is there. On this moon, light rays are falling. From where they are coming? They are coming from sun. The light rays which are coming from sun, they are going to fall on the moon. Moon is going to absorb all those light rays and thereafter it is going to re-emit all those absorbed light rays in all directions. Those re-emitted light rays are coming and reaching the earth. So we are receiving those re-emitted light rays and we are feeling there moon is shining. There, moon is not a luminous object. Moon is a non-luminous object. Have you understood? I mean, moon is not emitting its own light. So we call it as a non-luminous objects. Many are them. All planets. Planets, they are not emitting their own energy, light energy. We call them as non-luminous objects. Many are the plants. We can see the plants. They are not emitting the light rays even though we can see. Why? Because they are re-emitting those light rays which are falling on them. They are not emitting their own energy. They are not emitting their own light. So we call them as a non-luminous objects. Things around us. See here, marker is there. Marker, we can see the marker. It's not a luminous object, it's non-luminous. It's emitting those light rays which are falling on it, not its own light. Have you understood? That's it. I mean, luminous and non-luminous objects. After this, we should go with our this chapter in detail. See here, before entering into that, our respective chapter, we should know about some things called objects and images. Especially in this 9th chapter, we are going to study the interaction of light energy. Interaction of light energy with optical elements. Interaction of light energy with optical elements to produce the images of so and so objects. What it means? In this chapter, we are going to study the interaction of light with optical elements to produce the images of so and so objects. What it means? See here. Every day, early morning, we are going to stand in front of the mirror. When we stand in front of mirror, what we see there? We see our face in that mirror. We call that as our image. We call that as our image. Here we treat our body as an object, and what we see in the mirror we call it as image of this object. What it is? What happened here? In front of mirror, you standing, behind mirror, you feel your image is there. Object, image, in between object and image, that mirror, you call it as optical element. Optical elements means the substances which can able to produce the images of so and so objects. That mirror can able to produce image of object. So it is optical element. Lens is an optical element because that also can able to produce images of objects. Prism, that also can able to produce the images of an object. So especially in this chapter we studying about the interaction of light with optical elements to produce the images of so and so object. So here we should know what mean exactly object, what mean exactly image, and how many types of objects are there and how many types of images are there. What mean object? We know that object means the thing which we can see. The thing which we can see called as object. Here this is a thing I can see. I call it as object. The thing which we can see is called as object. Many things are there around us which we can able to see. We call them as objects. Here board is there. We can see this board. We call it as object. Many things are there. So now here objects are of two types. Real object and virtual object. Real object and virtual object. Very important in this chapter. See, look here on this diagram. Here I have taken a plane mirror. This one is a plane mirror. There one side is reflecting and another side is painted, called as opaque. See, here this is a mirror. This side of mirror is completely a reflecting surface. Their back side painted. These marks are indicating their back side is painted. Mean what? Those light rays unable to pass through it. They falling on it and they bouncing back. Falling and bouncing back. This phenomena we call as reflection of light. The bouncing back of light ray when it incident on any reflecting surface is called as reflection of light. See here, look on this diagram. Here there is a plane mirror, held it like this. In front of that plane mirror, there is an object. There is an object. Later we will see whether it is real or virtual. When we call real, when we call virtual. Imagine here mirror is there. In front of that mirror you standing. It's a plane mirror. In front of that you standing. What happening here? From sun, light rays are coming, falling on your body. That your body absorbing all those light rays and re-emitting them in all directions. Re-emitting light rays in all directions. Some few light rays coming in this direction and going to fall on that mirror. From your body, light rays are coming and going to fall on that mirror. You look here. If the incident light rays, incident means they going to fall on any optical element. Optical element means it may a mirror, it may a lens, it may a prism. See here mirror is there. On this mirror, these light rays are going and falling. They going and inciding on that. So those light rays which are going to fall on that element called as incident beam of light. These light rays we call as incident. Why we call incident? Because they going and inciding on that mirror. So we call them as incident beam of light. If incident beam of light are diverging from a source of light. If incident beam of light are diverging from a source of light or diverging from a object, then such object is called as real object. What it means? If incident light rays or incident beam of light is diverging from an object, then that object is called as real object. Means what it means? See, this is mirror. In front of that mirror you standing. If light rays are diverging from your body, if light rays are diverging from your body, then you called as a real object. Mean what? Real. It is being there. Real telling it is there. A body is there. From that body, these light rays are coming. Here mirror is there. In front of mirror, you standing. From your body, if light rays are diverging, I mean they are coming from that. Coming from means you are being there. You are, that object is there. So that object we have to call as a real object. Are you getting? Very simple. If the light rays are actually coming from any object, then we call such object as a real object. If they are actually coming from that object, such objects are called as real objects. Real objects. I said, here mirror there. Here I kept an object. From that object, you see here in this diagram, two light rays I have taken. From this object, one light ray moving in this direction and one more light ray is moving in this direction. I mean, these two light rays are diverging from that object. I mean, actually they coming from that object. So we call it as a real object. Have you understood what I mean? Light ray, if they actually coming from any object, then such object is called as a real object. Yes. So now one more is there. Another virtual object. What mean virtual? Virtual means it looks like being there. It looks like being there. If you go and see there, nothing you will notice. Are you getting what I am going to say? Virtual means it looks like being there, but actually or physically that is not going to present there. Physically that not going to present there, but we feel is there. That we call as virtual. Virtual means it looks like there, but physical appearance you will not notice. You see here. What mean virtual object? Look here. Here again, same analysis. You take a plane mirror. This is a plane mirror. Okay. Here I have drawn two light rays. Here one light ray coming from somewhere, and here one more light ray is there, that is also coming from somewhere. I mean, here somewhere a source of light is there. From that source of light, these two light rays got emitted. They got emitted, and they coming and going to fall on this mirror. They going to fall on this mirror. Once they got incident on this mirror, they bounce back. I mean, mirror reflect, there was a light ray back, that we call as reflection. See here, they going to fall on the mirror and they coming back to the same medium. They are not going to merge. So see, what you have to do here, you just have to extend their initial path. Initial means before they going to bounce back. You just extend their initial paths. Here I have extended with these dotted lines. These dotted lines indicating the extended path of this first light ray. Similarly, you extend the path of that second light ray like this. somewhere those two extended paths going to meet. Yes, here they got met with each other. Here there is a formation of image. Image means the intersection point of reflected or refracted light ray called as image. Later we discuss. Here, thereafter extending the initial parts of those incident light rays, they got met here. There is a object. See here what we feel. If you go back like this, those two light rays are not going to merge. Those light rays are not going to merge. I mean, they looks like you see here, these two incident light rays are going to converge at this point. These two light rays are going to converge at this point. There, that point, what we have to treat, there is an object. We feel there is an object. We feel these light rays came from somewhere. We can't reach that point. Instead of searching that point, what we have to do? Just we have to extend that path. Somewhere they are going to merge. So that the point we have to treat as the presence of that object from where these two light rays came. Somewhere here it is there. Their immersion is here. By extending they are going to merge here. So now here where they got met, that point we treat as a virtual object. Getting what I mean to say? You feel they are going to merge there. There is an object that we call virtual object. Getting what I mean to say? If you go behind that mirror and if you see there, you won't get anything over there. You will not find any physical appearance. We imagine like that. By extending them again further, they are going to meet somewhere. That point we have to treat, object is there. That kind of object we call as virtual object. Means if light rays are diverging from any object, such object we treat as a real object. If light rays converging at any point, then that object we have to treat as a virtual object. If light rays converging, that object we have to treat as a virtual object. It's our imagination. But here, light rays are actually coming, so we called it as a really existing object called a real object. It's our imagination. So we called it as virtual. It may be there. So we call it as a virtual object. Virtual means it looks like being there, but actually it's not going to present over there. Have you understood? Yes. This is about the object. After this object, we should know about image. What mean image? Image. Already I said, the intersection point of reflected or refracted light ray we call as an image. Intersection. See, from any kind of object, from objects, light rays are coming and they are going to fall on the optical elements like mirror or like lens or like prism. Once they got incident on such elements, those light ray may reflect, may refract. Thereafter reflection or refraction, those light rays somewhere going to meet. Where they meet, there they are going to produce the immersion of that object. That we call as image. the intersection point of